All right, guys. Carsten is already on stage. Carsten, the mic is yours. Go ahead, please.
Okay, just checking. Can you hear my audio just fine? Yes, great. That's the first thing that's good to work. And I hope you can see my stream as well. Okay, so I'm going to give an update from Compute Unit about more loving Linux as a co-processor. So just kind of like to repeat from last time around, co-processors are kind of like stateless off-chain systems versus where something like rollup is a stateful off-chain system. And what we're kind of trying to build is something together with, like we're using the eigenlayer system, where basically you can kind of put very large economic bonds on execution and basically have your computation done in a way where eventually, let's say if somebody has voted badly on your computation, then you can go ahead and slash them. So it kind of enables us to kind of have a very large amount of value sitting and protecting a computation, for example, relying on the 2/3 of the value is or behaving honestly. And as I also said last time around, the kind of like the dream with this is that we'll get to a point where we can kind of like run Cartesi create, Cartesi build, Cartesi run, send, and deploy into a coprocessor, and basically being able to very straightforwardly use the result in my smart contracts or in other software without necessarily waiting 7 days, if you're okay with the level of security the restake stuff can do. And again, why Compute Team is doing is because it's using a Labata stack in the background here. And I'm going to do a very, very dangerous thing, which is I'm going to do a live demo. And basically what you're going to see is we check out a sample, we build it, we start a coprocessor devnet, we upload the build, and we call a function, you use some JavaScript, watch the events, and kind of seeing the responsive chain. So I'll just jump to my visual code and just line up my nodes. So first off, we get some samples. We don't yet have support in Cartesi create, but let's clone it down. And let's check this out. Template, TypeScript, because we have the TypeScript. I'm going to cheat a little bit here and kind of show you something I've kind of cooked up already. Basically, one of the changes that's happened in kind of like Labata and kind of like the CLI integration is that it's kind of looking like the normal way of doing things. Like we have, for example, /finish down here. We get an advanced state. We handle the advanced state, but then kind of like there starts being a little bit of difference because in Labata based applications, state is external. So basically here kind of allows us to open up this program that's being executed in the coprocessor and kind of access anything that's sitting underneath that directory. We then can write into it. This state output here that's happening here, it basically goes into the coprocessor, and you'll kind of see that in a moment. And compared to last, we don't call finish, but we call commit state, which basically releases out that, well, now we're done doing the computation. Okay, anyway, this is, of course, just gibberish code, but let's actually build it. This is using the latest Cartesi CLI. So basically, because we have inside, let me just demonstrate here. We have inside the demo, in the Docker file, we have a different SDK here, and a different SDK version we're using here, still kind of like under development. But basically it works normal. You build something to Docker to make a machine, and then basically what happens is that we can like turn this into a Labata image or whatever we call it, where the machine sits inside, there's a little bit of extra information and so on. It kind of appears as this in this direction under here, with let's say a car file that we can upload everywhere. Okay, so because this is kind of working on the convenience of it, we are now going to upload this. Actually, I'm supposed to start up a coprocessor here. So we're going to do a Docker compose up, and we see kind of like 3 operators, which are kind of like the entities that are doing the computation in the coprocessor actually, and it just takes a few moments here because it kind of needs to be ready and so on, but should be quick in a sec. This better work. Yeah, okay, and now it's kind of like registering up. Sec. Right. Slow today. Okay, anyway, aggregator starts, and like in a moment a couple of operators are going to start up. wait as a started up and deposit a few tokens in and registering, and in a moment it should be saying that we're listing for tasks. Okay, so now we're going to upload the stuff that we just built. This is of course supposed to be something like Cartesi deploy or something like that, where it uploads to the coprocessor. And well, the coprocessor is now ready. I made a small program that basically goes and kind of listens for events from the coprocessor, ugly stuff. But basically what happens is that when you send a compute job into a coprocessor, it calculates it, it has the operators do it, and then it submits kind of like an aggregated response back into the blockchain with the result of the computation. And you'll kind of like see that in action just now. Run it. So kind of like you see, we have kind of just sent it off. We can see over in the coprocessor, easily in a sec, that it made a batch and sent it to blockchain. And then it kind of goes to run the computation, and it finished computing really fast. As you can see, it's using the Labada backend here, taking the program, which is just an IPFS, along with a couple of metadata like the latest Ethereum block and the latest Ethereum hash of the block as well. And you can see it basically settled back. And basically what you can see over here is that we got the event back. It happened this Ethereum block number, the batch, kind of like the input for information. And we basically received a particular CAD output, which is kind of like the state afterwards. So while we're talking about stateful, it doesn't mean that we can't output a full directory of things. That becomes externalized information from the computation. And also, what's very useful is that kind of like we have this output file I was showing in the code just before, and basically we can see here that the code after fetching an IPFS basically is hello world. So basically if you want to settle this into the Ethereum chain, you can go and look up that, okay, so I had this computation which was a particular input, a particular CAD, and I can then go and say, okay, in this batch, what did this give at this particular output, and then basically fetch that from a smart contract by providing the actual input and making match up with the hash. And yeah, so basically I'll just move back to the slides here for a moment. They're kind of like, the next step is that we'll be talking a little bit about kind of like in the next technical units call about call to action about the stuff, because I think this is amazing technology to get the Cartesi machine into hands of people. We are probably this week gonna kind of deploy this pre-production. We are kind of like a week late with our schedule, but this is kind of like what we're planning to do. And we're hoping to kind of like get additional support in the Cartesi CLI, and I just want to say thanks to my team for kind of like helping pull this off. And now let's find my Discord again. I can disconnect my screen. Yeah, so Eric was asking about like the consensus of the result of the competition. So in the beginning here in pre-production, that's basically going to be one operator. So that's basically the consensus here. But over time, basically we'll have multiple operators, and what happens is each of the operators goes ahead and makes a BN 254 PLS-like signature, where basically each of these operators, when they register in the system, they go and have a particular stake weight according to how much stake value there is. But in the beginning, as we're kind of like making this work, it's perfectly fine that we can like have a, let's say, a one operator. We can kind of extend it to more trusted operators and then open up generally for people to come in and restake their value and stake it, and being real big operators that could potentially be up to, let's say, several billion US dollars in secure value here. So that's how kind of like you achieve the consensus, that basically what happens is as an aggregated signature of all these things settle down into one signature, PLS signature, because you can do this, and that settles into Ethereum, and that basically can be used either in a smart contract or in let's say with just the events that are going through the smart contract there, if that explains your question. Okay. Stop streaming. And happy to answer any questions afterwards on the Cartesi Compute channel as well.
All right, thank you very much, Carsten. Very happy to see this concrete step on this work front to do for you and all people involved on that, right? Let people As Cynthia said some time ago, any doubt, any question that you have, please type you on the chat, and then at the end we will raise that so the presenters can answer, okay? Nice work. Okay, continuing here, let's have node unit. Marcel is here. Yeah.
Welcome, Marcel. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Let me share my screen.
Okay.
So it's going to be a quick one. I think everybody can see it. So recently we have released a new version of the Cartesi rollups node. It's V150. It comes to fix an issue that was reported by some community members, where the node was closing epochs in a wrong way between restarts. So and that was typical to cloud deployments like Zenodo. We had that. So we changed. So in order to fix that issue, we changed the way the node closed epochs. Now it's closed based on block numbers instead of block timestamps. So as this is something that might hit some app developers, we strongly recommend that whoever is using Node v1.4 or a previous version, upgrade it to Node v1.5. And there are two options for that. The easiest one is simply redeploying the application. You can use the self-hosted option, for example. And there's an alternative, which is replacing the history contract instance used by the node. This would be necessary for the ones that would not want to start the app from scratch and had to make inputs and deposit funds and so on. So it's just an option. There's a full guide for that upgrade available on GitHub. I believe you can see it. So it goes about the two options, the self-hosted one, and also gives all the steps for application owners to replace the application history. And that's it. So if you have any questions, please hit me on Cartesi rollups channel. And that's it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcel. Strongly recommend that Cartesi dApps are this new rollups node version. It makes the node much more stable when running on cloud VMs like Fly.io. So please consider that. Okay, let's go. GP unit, please bring the nice news.
Yeah, okay.
Hello,
just
Helen.
sharing my... Hello, can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay, I hope you can also see my screen as well.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm going to present Cartesi Grants Program Wave1 updates and reports. We are so excited to share the outcomes and the progress that we have made so far since the launch of Wave1. Wave1 is CGP is an iterative governance experiment, and our funding thesis is to fund or to grow the number of value-aligned builders in the ecosystem with a goal on long-term growth and participation in the ecosystem. Wave1 of the program was an iteration of the pilot program, and what the Wave1 was about is basically we took the feedback that we saw from Wave1, from the pilot, and the pain points that we saw from the grantees during the pilot program and the feedback that we received as well to improve the program. Some of the key pain points that we saw from the pilot that we wanted to address with Wave1 were The first one was basically the grantees were unsure about what is it that CGP is funding and whether their projects would qualify. The other pinpoint that we saw from the grantees and applicants was that they were unsure about the application or the review process the moment they submit their projects. And we also saw that it was challenging for both the grantees and the community to monitor and track proposals that have been submitted. So to address these areas, with Wave 1, we partnered with Chambers to host the grants program. And we also introduced 4 categories of funding to communicate better about what is it that CGP is funding, and basically make it easier for the applicants to understand whether their projects would fit. And also we set up stronger grants council procedures to oversee the grants program and streamline the grants processes as well. Just to take a look at the program overview, CGP has seen strong application numbers with strong awareness in the wider ecosystem. Since the launch of Wave 1, we have approved 4 projects so far across 4 different teams, committing a total of 141K. Out of those proposals that we have received, 7 of them are currently under review, with one of the projects that went to Snapshot today for voting. So if you have staked your CTSI, you can vote on the proposal. Out of the 4 categories of funding, we have received a total of 49 applications, and we have also seen a total of 230 participants join CGP's Chambers space. And out of the 49 applications, 22 of them have been from new ideas and dApps. We have seen 4 proposals from research and integration, 9 on developer tooling, and 13 from gaming. Out of the 49 proposals, 14% are currently under review, and 77% were declined. The primary reason for declining most of the proposals has been that we either see that most of the proposals are either purely AI generated, or we have also seen cases where it's either a non-technical proposal, or some projects also basically grant farming, where a project has applied for grant in other ecosystems and then they come and copy-paste the entire proposal on CGP. And we have also seen other cases where the applicant didn't take time to understand what is Cartesi and our technology, or also they didn't really articulate the potential value the projects would add to the Cartesi ecosystem. Overall, our goal is not really to fund as many projects as possible, but our goal is to really focus on the quality of the projects that we are funding so that we can maximize the outcome and the impact of these projects that they might have. Taking a look at the Grants Council processes, the Grants Council plays a very crucial role in streamlining the grants program and managing the processes as well. All the proposals that we receive from CGP usually go through 3 stages of review. The first stage is usually the initial review, and then from there we go to the final review, where in this case the Grants Council will do an internal vote to decide whether they are going to recommend the project to the wider community through a snapshot vote. And if that's the case, then we push it to snapshot. The Grants Council members are myself, Pedro, Joao, and Gabriel. Special thanks to Jatin for his contributions until February. A new update that we are making with the Grants Council review processes is that moving forward, all the proposals that we are receiving, we will be doing the review processes on Cartesi Discord and a CGP questions channel. We also see this as a way to also invite the core team and the community as well to provide feedback to the applicants. And to give a look at the financial review overview of the CGP's treasury as of today. Our current treasury is 506,850. Out of that, 364,000 is unallocated. We have committed a total of 142,850, and the total grants that we have paid so far through CGP is 54,050. I'm going to invite Joao to come on board and talk more about the projects that we have funded so far in Wave 1 and what each project is doing.
Hey everyone, can you hear me well? Well, the green light on the Discord blinks, so seems like it. For the first project we're going to talk about that is being currently built through the CGP grants is the Board Game IO, which is a library that's it's a Board Game IO inspired library. If anyone has ever played Board Game IO, it's a system where you can play many different board games. They have different implementations and assets, and it's very customizable, so people can create their own games. Board Game IO, differently from what we're used with Rives, for example, tends to be for multiplayer games, turn-based games, which is a very good use case for Cartesi because you don't have to be so worried about latency and things like that. And the whole idea is to make it so much more simpler and yet for you to understand and be able to start using the Cartesi framework. It's not a complete abstraction, but it abstracts in a good enough way where you have seamless integration with streamable tokens, and you get all the computational efficiency that you would need because some of these games need some complex computations to be able to calculate results. If you think of something like chess, for example, you do need all the verifications running on the backend. I think then the next one is Chain ID. If you are familiar with Cartesi, you know that for a while we had some issues during masterclasses or hackathons with environment setup. So Chain ID is a very interesting project that I won't say solves that because we came a long way and the setup of the environment is so good right now, but it creates another approach for you to start developing for Cartesi, in which you can actually use a full online IDE with extensions very similar to what VS Code looks like. And you're able to start coding on the go. It's a infrastructure as a service in a sense, because you do have your own little server running the whole Cartesi environment necessary to build. And you also empower people to develop full stack front-end applications, not only the back-end part of Cartesi. It's good because it will also include some testing tools. It will be fully compatible with the Cartesi CLI, and you will be able to use an AI assistant that is based off not only the documentation, code examples we have on GitHub, but also discussions we have on Discord, right? So it's a recursive AI model which continuously learns and improves itself. Then we have DCA Monster. DCA Monster is an automated market maker, essentially, and what it does is dollar cost averaging for your tokens. Essentially, the mathematics that it runs are too complex to be run on a traditional blockchain. So Cartesi doesn't power that and allows us to actually have this solution, which is pretty unique and pretty great. DCA Monster started already and then approached the Cartesi grants to be able to conclude or evolve in a sense. So it's a great example of a project that came from the community and started to develop. For next one, we have Fastlane. Fastlane is an infinite runner game. For example, Temple Run or Flappy Bird, of course, with a completely different mechanic and interface. And the cool thing about it is it integrates with Oasis network. So random traps, random obstacles appear while you're playing, and you can't actually check them before up to the moment where they would appear. So the whole idea is some sort of proof of concept also for this secret messaging and just revealing on specific time points. It's going to be completely run on the browser and the computation verifiable afterwards. Yeah, and live on Snapshot, we have the World Tycoon, formerly known as Cryptopolis, with which Danilo crushed in the ETH Global Online Hackathon, right? And yeah, we're very excited to see this because it's an amazing proof of concept of game. It does have tokenomics included. It does have, it's very engaging. It seems extremely fun. And it's a tried and tested game. If you ever played SimCity, that's what it is all about. But on-chain, of course.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Joel, for the presentation on that. Yeah. And yeah, Web1 has really marked a significant advancement with our funding thesis for CGP, and the Grants Council is really committed to continue innovating on our grants processes and finding effective ways to allocate capital and maximize the impact of the grants that we are funding. We're looking forward for your feedback, and if you have any proposal, feel free to submit it or reach out to us on the CGP questions channel on Cartesi Discord. Just going back to Discord.
Right. Thank you very much, Helen and João, and all the CGP members for that, right? And we move, Helen, or you have something else to share? Oh, okay. Let's go. Dev Ad Unit. Gabriel Barros is on stage already.
A good one for everyone. I have a handful of updates for DevAd, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet, and I hope to see you guys on Discord seeking for more details. Let's get started. So I'm going to start with the grants. So we had two over here. So Cartesi Dev Kits just completed their grant. They made everything available. You can check it on Discord. So DevKit started as a CLI tool to help you bootstrap your project. The front end is fully integrated with all of the APIs, and it's supposed to make your life easier when you're creating apps for Cartesi. Coming next, we just accepted Smart Bus. It's a project out of Rio. They are trying to propose a better management of public transit. And even though we just accepted this proposal this month, they already submitted the milestone one. So the next step for us is to be reviewing such milestone. Now, we started an initiative in the previous month of a podcast called I Build at 4 a.m. And in this month, we had 3 more new episodes talking with grantees and their journey on Cartesi development, talking about how they got to here, what was easy and hard for them, and all their interesting experiences. So if you want to know more about ChainID, Peeps, or Prism, these are really good episodes to check. On to docs. We had 2 release candidates up to be approved to follow the update of the node 1v5. And also we added new tutorials. We remodeled the architecture page with new pictures and diagrams. Also, we added a new community tools page because we felt that would be more in line with what is necessary and simpler for people to understand. JJ has been diving a journey with formerly known Polygon ID. It's now known as Private ID. He's been trying to understand how to better integrate this with Cartesi dApps. He's been documenting all his journey. You can find all his attempts here in this slide. You're going to see that he created the Centra sign using the Private ID authentication. He deployed it on Polygon Amoy network. And you can also check his repository, jj/Cartesi Cartesi Privado. Now, Peeps, the microblogging platform that we already presented before, has completed their grants. It's looking sharp, guys. I invite everybody to try. It's a really cool project. And we need to stress test it now. We need to see what is coming next for them. Also, Prism, they made lots of progress. They achieved a few of their milestones, and they deployed it on Sepolia. Is up for testing too. Prism, for people who don't remember, we're trying to do verifiable NFTs using Stable Diffusion on Cartesi, and they've been doing some pretty crazy stuff. Finally, quick run of updates for all the other activities. So I created a small template for people who are trying to use Gitpod. If you go from the template, you don't need to configure anything. You can just clone it or just start a new development environment. It's supposed to be good. I'm listening for any difficulties people can be having with this. Also, the DevEd team created a new developer page, this Mugen site. It's looking sharp, guys. I'm inviting everybody to check it out. There you can find our new Udemy V2 course released. Also a new bounty program page with all the new details and suggestions for people who are looking for our bounties. Also, we did some updates on Romulat. And Hiki has been working on this. He got the code from Linyo to be moved to a Romulat organization. He updated the templates and the framework to conform with the changes that came since the last update with Nonodo and the SDK as well. He also deployed the Vault backend with some updates to conform with business rules related to the market, the energy market in Brazil. We also did release an alpha version of Memebat. There's the small features there for guys to be playing and toying with it. I'm open to hear any suggestions on where we can take this next. Also, Brazil and Kenya masterclasses are around the corner. We're supposed to be having these, the Brazil ones now in August. Michael did release a full 4 new tools of the week, highlighting them on the beginning friendly channel, helping all the newcomers to get started with Cartesi. And we welcoming all builders to send their proposals for seed grants. Thank you, guys.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Those all DevEd units.
Thank you,
Anything else, Barros?
That's it for us.
Great, thank you, man. So let's move. Our next group here is the Rives Initiative. Oh, yeah, Carlo already jumped it. Welcome, Carlo.
Thank you, Claudio. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, guys, let's get started. The recap for what we did last month. As usual, really busy month. So just a quick overview of what Rives is for the ones that might be seen for the first time, maybe on a recording. So Rives is this on-chain fantasy console. So we have this really nice console in which you can play games, old school, retro style. There are similar ones that are not verifiable on chain like Pico 8 or TKD, but ours is actually verifiable on chain thanks to using the amazing Cartesi technology. So you can do some really cool stuff, just like playing Doom on chain and actually having it fully verifiable so no one can lie about what they did. So just an overview of the last month. So we had a lot of application optimizations. Those include a creation of an aggregator, which has a lot of stuff that the front-end queries and speeds up a lot the user experience. We also have stable reader nodes, which are also felt when using the front-end of Rives. we have this new documentation section for dealing with sprites, which is going to be really useful for people that are going to join our upcoming Rives Game Jam number 2. And about that, we also have a workshop next Friday about it. We had 2 play tests, one with Blade Bomber, which is a nice dungeon crawler, and another one that's more nerdy, which is Life is Hard, based on Conway's Game of Life. And we were part of a couple of events presenting Rives for people to play what they wanted on FCC, like How to Con and Back to the Future event, and also the Modular House here in Rio. And we had our first in-person Rives game development workshop at UF. So just showing up the new documentation for sprites. If you go to the Rives.io site and go to create, you have this new session, drawing sprites. And it goes from the basic of loading an image, then drawing that image, and fixing the color palette so that it displays correctly. And then selecting a section of that image so that you draw a specific sprite. And then also shows how to animate it. So for the ones that are having a first experience on game development, this is pretty comprehensive and step-by-step guide that should help out the new guys, and also might clear some doubts of the veterans, right? The Rives Game Jam number 2 is happening on August 8th, and it lasts for a week. The theme for this one is magic. And for this one, we had a partnership with the Forgotten Rooms project. So they're also putting some NFTs that are worth quite some money in the prices. If you use them, you're eligible to use it. And we have a lot of information about this game jam on the itch.io page. So you can check it out there, itch.io/jam/Rives2. So if you guys want to scan this QR code to join our Discord, as I said, next Friday, 12 o'clock UTC, so midday, we're going to have this game jam workshop to show how to build a simple game. So you can go there and join if you want a first experience on or a crash course on how to develop for Rives. Going for the Blade Bomber contest, this one is the winner, which is actually a guy from dApps, Marcos, which was insanely fast and precise on his run. So just speeding up things a bit. You can always go to Rives.io and check the contest. It's already closed for submission, but you can check all the leaderboard, including this run from Marcos. Okay, so kudos, Marcos. The second playtest we had, Life is Hard from Conway's Game of Life. Once again, Marcos won it, so he's getting pretty good in our games. And yeah, he made a quite a strange strategy, but it did work out. And he did have the highest score on the game. So you can check out the evolution of his community up to the grand finale, in which we had the most cells alive. Yeah, it does smell like a cheater, but he did put a lot of effort, so kudos for him. Well deserved. And yeah, so a couple of features of the event. Now we have to con during FCC, just showcasing Rives, talking to people, allowing them to play a couple of games, having fun. We had Lino presented with our first presidential workshop, so he displayed it to a couple of college students in there, how to build Rives. At occasion, he built a Guitar Hero-like game. So it's a simple one to make, but gives a good idea on how you can build up something more complex. And we had our modular house showcase also here in Rio a couple of weeks ago. And a lot of people were also interested, and they also had some fun with Rives. So if you want to build your game right now, you just head to docs.rives.io. You select create, and then you have access to all the documentation for Rives, including this new section on how to draw sprites. And well, please join our community. Let us know what you think of Rives, the features you're missing, the things you like. If you have any difficulties, we're hanging around in there all the time, so we can give you a hand. And yeah, play, create, do your thing. Have fun.
you very much, Carlo. Amazing work as usual.
Thanks.
Anything else?
If there are no questions, I'm going to leave the stage, guys.
Yeah, we can do it at the end, right? Okay, let's move. Last presentation of our dev recap, but it's not the end because we will have the question and answers. So please don't be shy. Put your questions on the chat, right? Explorer unit. One told me that that we will have a demo. Is it right, Danilo?
Yeah, it's hi. Good morning, everyone. I'm presenting on behalf of Bruno, who is the main developer of the Explorer and the Cartesi scan. So he actually recorded a video. I'll try to present his video. If you guys don't listen to the audio, let me know in the chat. Do like a live demo if that doesn't. We did test it before, so it should work. Let me try. Can you see the screen? Yeah, so the demo is about decoding data that you can check on the Cartesi scan. All the data that goes in an application is kind of a binary data. So you need to decode the data to actually see what's inside and do something useful with the data. So we created a way to describe how the input of an application is encoded, so you can insert ABI specification. If the data is encoded as ABI, you can specify what is the ABI specification of the data, and you can see the decoded. So let me play the video.
Hi. Let me do a quick demo about a new feature that we are introducing to Cartesi scan, and it's called decoding specification. This feature is targeted to the app developers that are using ABI encoding and also non-standard ABI encoding to the input payloads. So instead of seeing something like this, an alien kind of characters, you're gonna see like in a much nicer way. So, for example, I have a random ABI here that we're not going to work because it doesn't match. So let's create a new one. I have here the signatures. This application is called OnChess. So OnChess ABI. I generate my JSON ABI here. Human readable ABI, you can read a little bit more about this, but it's just a compressed way in a compressed JSON ABI format. So it's just a bunch of signatures that will generate your JSON ABI. Let me save. Let me go back here. Refresh. And now I can select OnChess and see what that payload is about. And this is for each one of these. But selecting this is very cumbersome. So let me go back here, see my list of ABIs, and change. Update this. I will add a condition. A condition is just a way for you to tell us where we should automatically try to apply.
I cannot see the video anymore. So yeah, now it's appearing again.
I will update.
I don't know if it's only for me, but the audio is very low.
Here, right? So now, if I just refresh and have a look, now it's automatically selected for me. Now, about the non-standard application, non-standard ABI encoding. For example, all the portals and relays that Cartesi provides are non-standard encoding. So that was a decision for saving bytes, and maybe you are doing that as well. And that's what the system specification is about. So let me show you how you could leverage that if you want to. We change to the ABI parameters. And let me give you an example with the ERC 1155 batch deposit. This is an example of encoded data. Because it's non-standard, I need to know the byte size of each thing. And I know that the first 20 bytes is the token address. So 0 to 20. The next 20 bytes is who actually sent that. And as you can see, like is already doing the things here for me. And the third one is we don't know the size of this, so it's gonna be from the byte 40 and beyond. So you can see your things here. You can delete if you want to. What I can do now, I know that this last guy is ABI encoded, but his ABI is ABI parameter. So I'm gonna choose data. It will fail. Don't worry. You will see. Keep changing your specification, and you will check. Will give you some hints about what is wrong. And I know that the ABI parameter signature is this. Again, human readable ABI. And now I can see. Let me unselect this so you can have a view of what the data actually is. It's basically an unwrapping. And it's the list of token IDs, the list of amount, and base layer and exact layer hex information that you sent. Again, you can add the conditions, you can save, and do like this. If your thing was just using ABI parameters to like something simple like this, you can just save this. You don't need to do any of the byte range. Those are all optionals. So I hope you guys like this. I hope you use, and feedbacks are always welcome. People never cease to amaze me of what they are doing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so let me share the link of the video if you guys want to check it out later. I don't know if you have access to the video, maybe you do. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Danilo. So it's time for question and answers. I'm checking here some questions that were posted on the chat were already answered, but I have some here, so it's time for people to think. I'd like to know more about the new tutorials that they've had put on their presentation. Can you share more details about that, about which new tutorials are that? I'm curious.
We can also get Michael here to detail what he did, but we are changing the tutorials to match the new version. It's coming with 1.5, but also to reflect a new understanding that we have. We want to have things a little bit more clean and simple, more bare bones of the API, so to speak, but and then have another space where we introduce high-level frameworks and things like that. So in this sense, the old tutorials are being reworked to reflect that that understanding.
Okay. There will be no new dApp as an example, right? It is more refresh of the work.
Yes, in a way, yes. Yes. For the ones that we're doing right now, yes, nothing new in this sense. But I do feel like some of them are now going to be adapted. So probably you're going to choose new ones to do. And so we have the same amount that we had before.
Great. Thank you very much. Another doubt is on the awesome work that Carson presented. Carson, when we have this pre-production release on mainnet, what can we other users can do with it? Is the experiment, the project that you presented for us, that will be on mainnet, of course, with some adjustment, or it will be something that people will be able to use also to do their things?
It will be whatever they want to upload, basically. So it's a general purpose coprocessor. So basically, if you can build a Cartesi build, and of course after the small adjustments to kind of make compatible with the Lambda runtime, well, you can put anything you want in there.
Oh, great. Eager to see what people will bring for this beautiful work. Thank you. Another one I have for Carlo. Any chance, Carlo, for this workshop that you mentioned that we will do in the coming days for the Rive, showing how to develop games with Stripe, can turn into a tutorial on the Free Code Camp? I don't know if you know this YouTube channel.
Yeah, we might put it on YouTube or somewhere else, but we're still let's say polishing it a bit. Once we're happy with it, we'll record it or something. We do have another tutorial already on the site for a while for making a Snake game, and step by step, and you also have the interactive Riv in there, in which you can just execute the cartridge at that point on the code. So yeah, we're improving documentation as well.
Yeah, it would be nice to be this more spreading, more people developing games for the platform. I think it would be nice. Okay, thank you. Let me see if we have other questions. Oh, I think there is one from Guilherme, but Danilo already answered. Okay. No more questions. Incha is typing. Let me wait a little bit. Okay, I'll keep an eye out on Rive and their Discord. Great, Cynthia. Great. So that's it, guys. If we have no more questions, that's the end of our nice monthly dev recap.